FTAN is able to bring stakeholders, all of the stakeholders to the table, which is usually a difficult process. The state governments are here, the federal ministries are here, the agencies of government are here, all of the industry players are here. So when you get all this kind of collaboration, that's what is required to move the industry forward rather than segments of the industry. So that's the beauty of this AGM, and that's the success this president has had. The BOT chairman addressed it, the speakers addressed it, the governor addressed it, the deputy governor acting for the governor, in that collaboration is key. And if you look at the theme of the AGM, it's about setting an agenda for the government. So we're looking at what are the issues today, what are the challenges we're experiencing, what's the prospect for the industry, and what direction should it go. And so I think that enables the president to see the point of view of the entire industry rather than the sectoral view of one or two groups, and use that to form his agenda. So what is the first thing they're asking? It is time for an independent tourism ministry, so that you have a government sectoral lead that would direct the affairs of tourism. The lead speaker touched on some of the key elements in that Africa demonstrates the greatest potential for success in tourism, and using tourism as a platform for economic development. So it is from that point of view that this AGM helps the government in setting an agenda first, in getting a ministry, and then the kind of activities that ministry should pursue for the furtherance of the industry. Look, overall, the world, all around the world, tourism is giving close to 11% contribution to GDP. So if you think about that number relative to global GDP, and when we come to Nigeria, we're talking about less than 1%. And so you can see the tremendous opportunity, considering also, has been said by everyone, that tourism has greatest potential on the African continent, and Nigeria in particular. So there's no reason why tourism in Nigeria cannot contribute over 20% to our GDP. That kind of contribution is going to outdo every other sector of the economy.
FTAN Federation Tourism Association of Nigeria. I'm so happy today because all the key men in the industry gather here today to give understanding about what tourism is all about and development of our state country, Nigeria. It's a good opportunity, it's a good deal for everyone. We only have the Minister of Information and Culture. If the new president, the FTAN president, can be able to have a good relationship and rapport with the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we need the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in Nigeria for the growth of tourism in this country. Then from there we'll be able to bring out the stakeholders, the private that understand what it takes to succeed in tourism. And with the opportunity, government will get part of it, while the private investors will also become want to know that tourism is one of the leading industry in the world. When you look at the opportunity of COVID-19, it's an advantage to us in the industry because it's made us to strong. That's why we call it sustainable tourism. Lagos State have been so they are the best. The state is the best in terms of tourism development. I hope the other states will bring in tourism. We look at most of the states now. We have Minister of Culture and Tourism.
AGM naturally is a think tank session where practitioners in the industry, stakeholders come together to embrace development in the sector of tourism with the hope to ensuring that a document that will fast track development of tourism, setting a path to way forward across the country is made. So it is a necessary meeting of people who practice tourism to meet, agree, decide. Like what you have heard happen today, you see quite a number of persons who have attended stakeholders are interested in ensuring that the federal government separate or give a separate ministry to culture and tourism, away from bringing the Ministry of Culture and Tourism together with the Ministry of Information, making it very difficult to give focus, budget, attention to tourism development in Nigeria. So this meeting is quite interesting, it's important, and it's commendable. The current president has done so well. looking at the profile of what he has done as a leading person in the Federation of Tourism Associations, it is quite commendable. But the challenge is this. Today in Nigeria, there is crisis arising from unemployment. There's crisis arising from skill set people. There's crisis arising from the kind of model, the kind of curriculum vitae, or the kind of model used in teaching in schools, be it in the secondary school, be it in the university, because there's no skill deal across graduates who are graduating out of secondary, out of universities and other tertiary institutions. Now, tourism should be a bastion where, whether you've gone to school or you've not gone to school, there's a threat for everybody in tourism. Today in Nigeria, the cost of living is extremely high. How do we cope? Yet we have tourists visiting Nigeria and going back with so much money in their pockets. What are the challenges? Number one is capacity to build skills amongst our youth is needed. Then federal government has to tame insecurity. Where these are addressed, another thing is to set up a tourism development fund where people who are interested in working in the tourism sector of the national economy go there, pick a little money, look at either you want to be a cobbler, you do a cobbler reflecting the culture of your people and export it. If you want to make cake, you make cake in such a way that people, as with this combination of cake, not necessarily things that has to be flown from outside, typical things that has to be a combination of what you have around your neighborhood. You want to begin to make crafts. You make craft that in national event conferences you leverage on what you have for souvenirs outside the country. This is what I think should be the challenge. Not necessarily the jamboree of making elections and not making elections. That is important because we need leadership. Besides them making that jamboree, we need to sit down and recraft a situation where skills will be built within the tourism sector.
Primary thing is that tourism talks about people meeting, moving from one place to the other. So tour operators have the business of meeting from time to time. That is why events like this are so important, so that we see ourselves, review what we have done, and plan ahead for the future. Just like the topic of the event said, the theme, tourism today and tomorrow. To start with, I want to congratulate the newly re-elected president and his cabinet. Like many of the speakers have said, that he has done a marvelously good job. If you have been here for some time, you must have heard someone said in those days they were working on factions, but he has united the association and his re-election is fitting. Now the world is evolving. After COVID, a lot of things happened, things were disorganized. People are refocusing. The hanging fruit, the low-hanging fruit that we need to tap is those things that I will work to look into. Like many of the states that are struggling, if they have their tourism potential, they wouldn't need to struggle. So we need to strengthen the state associations. Strengthening the state associations will help the economy quite excellently. There are tourism sites and facilities in virtually every state in Nigeria. So if we encourage the state association, like in my state, we look at those things that make us tick. Akwa Ibom is very unique for its food, for its culture, our dances and everything. We develop. The same thing is what I want the national to encourage the state to develop their tourism potentials.
This event is very exciting, and it's so important to this our federation, because we are focusing on tourism today, tomorrow and beyond. And we have the privilege of having His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom, being represented by the Deputy this afternoon. It's an exciting AGM and a memorable one. That is our major request now. You can see that the DG in the hotel, DG, NCS, everybody is clamoring for it, because when we have a soul of our own ministry, we'll be able to develop the tourism better, and it's going to be at advantage of Nigerians.
What tourism product is that you find it virtually in every locality. Unlike oil is limited to some extent, but tourism products are everywhere, both in the nature, both in the environment, and both in the culture. So what we keep on saying is that if tourism is developed, virtually all the rural communities, all the localities in Nigeria will be developed. And on that note, we feel that The new president of FTAN should be somebody who is coming with a voice. You understand, that will spread the development of tourism in all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. Because tourism, as you may know, is one industry that provides a lot of job opportunities for people, direct opportunities and indirect in terms of jobs, right? At the same time, it's one industry that actually opened up rural areas. And the reason why today we're having most of these urban slums, migration from rural areas to urban areas, and of course all these insecurities, because people don't have anything to do. But if you develop tourism right there in your locality, in your village, you want to stay back because the foreigners will come there and meet you. You don't need to go and look for them. You understand? And when they come, they spend their hard-earned money, the dollars and what have you. And this thing has a multiplier effect on the community because the money is spent and respent. From there you find that tourism actually brings about development in those. So any FTAN president that is coming on board should be somebody who should be able to drive these policies and programs to the government.
Fortunately, or rather let me put it this way, this is the 26th edition of this. So that means FTAN is like 26 years old. So it's not a new baby. So it's, I won't call it a ritual, but it's what is done every other 2 years to assess what the industry is all about, to give it a vision and a direction, and also look at how far we've come. So that's why we're here, to look at how far we're going to get the industry together. You can see all the chief executives of all the parastatals are here. But is that a sign enough that we have gotten somewhere? But that's the first time we're really getting them together because there's this we and them structure. I'm in government, we are on the private sector, but we're saying, look, even this business, it's about the collective, about collaboration. So for them to have been here, and I hope that we transcend beyond just seeing the faces to go to see the action. Basically, FTAN is just exists on its own. It's really a conglomeration of associations. It's just like NASIMA or any other of those bodies that you can see, or SCCI. So for this is for the tourism industry, getting them together. And there are a lot of struggles in the sector. All the sub-sector associations, from ATPN, from NATO, from NANTA, from Adwatin, and a lot of them like that. So it's also to give them an umbrella, to really share their visions and pains, as the case may be, and then draw out interventions, either financial or in terms of encouragement, to ensure that the industry goes forward. So that when we go back home, when they go back home, they'll be able to deliver. And if there is any challenges, then FTAN can come in as a bigger body, to make interventions.
Being re-elected is more work, and but we have to be thankful to God who helped us the first tenure. And then going forward, also appreciate the members who voted me and ask them to work with me. It's not a one-man affair. Because I think we have built the foundation. Like I said, our first tenure was building structures, and then it's now time to develop on that and make sure that we create prosperity. I keep talking about creating prosperity for the industry. And then letting them understand why tourism would thrive better with their own ministry rather than be a department in the Ministry of Information and Culture. Policies are supposed to be made. You heard somebody today talking about the national tourism policy, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, and it's actually outdated. It needs to be reformed for tourism to do better. So if they gave us the ministry, the departments will take care of a whole lot of things. There will be the issue of promoting tourism marketing. There will be the issue of capacity building. Much more will happen. Sustainable tourism will come into place.